and winter is coming.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
For the watch.
Yeah, so I was like, is that Bran? Oh, wait, no, that's Arya. Is that Bran? Oh, no, that's Jaime. Is that Bran? Nope, that's Sansa.
Still
Bran.
not Bran.
Bran's just not. Is this another scene without fucking Bran? Fuck this shit. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Westeros After Hours. We are here to discuss Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman.
Yes, it just premiered last night. We're still kind of mulling over everything that happened.
Yep.
And we found out right about at the end of the episode why it was titled The Red Woman.
Well, yeah. Well, we knew something was going to happen. Sure the fuck found out. But before we start... Wait, what's that? Oh, all right. Yep, just fucking sound the alarms. Yeah, you hear that shit? That's the fucking alarms. It's a spoiler alarm. It's going off. It's super loud for a fucking reason. You know why? Because the spoilers everywhere. This whole thing's spoilers. Wow, that was loud. That was a loud alarm. Thanks, turn that off. Make sure you add that in, Sean. But you know what to do. You're smart enough. All right, so we're here, and we're ready, and I have a piece of paper. Gotta do that paper wiggle.
Gotta have the rustle.
Every single time. Gotta do that. I got that. So we're gonna start off. So we're gonna go through each plot that occurred in the last episode, or last night's episode rather. And after that, we're gonna talk about what we thought of the episode, whether we liked it, whether we didn't like it,
And what we think is gonna happen next.
Yeah, what we expect for the next few episodes. Obviously, we can't predict it that well because there might be some plot lines left out, like Bran Starks, for example. A little upset by that.
Where are you, Brandon?
Yeah, fuck you, Brandon. Get a job, fucking hippie. All right. All right, so we're going to start off, and I think there's no better place to start off than Sansa Stark. Or Sansa Bolton. I guess it's both. Sansa Stark, Bolton Stark. I don't know. They called her Lady Bolton, and I was like, that threw me off for a second.
It's like, please, no.
Yeah, it threw me off, and I'm like, oh, shit. I guess she is. All right, so we're going to start off with her. So the episode started off with her running away from Winterfell. She was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This Ramsay guy has raped me, beaten me. You could like see her like just physically like broken, and it was really upsetting. Her and Theon crossed the river.
With the dogs chasing them.
Yeah, they crossed the river, and I was like, all right, that's fine. And then Theon kind of comforted her, and Ramsay sent out a little search party, and they found her. So I was watching this, and it was at this point where I was like, good, like, awesome, like, they found her, cut, like, what's going to happen next time. But it didn't do that.
No.
And instead, Brienne found her, Brienne and Pod, killed all the Boltons and basically saved her. Brienne's like, hey, like, I did this for Renly, I did this for fucking Catelyn, I'm doing it for you. And I was like, wow, I wish this didn't happen. And I'm going to tell you why. I was watching this and I'm like, I don't like this because, all right, here's why. So last episode we had the whole candle situation. The last episode,
yeah.
I know it was last season finale, but it really was one episode ago.
Yes.
We had her kind of looking at the candle, and she made the choice whether to stay there or kill Stannis. Either do her duty that she was just given, or do her duty since like season 2. Yes. And obviously the moral choice would be to I feel that the correct choice would be to wait for Sansa, but obviously it didn't happen. So she's and instead of helping her, she got her vengeance on Stannis, and that was basically like fucked her, and Sansa had to leave and whatever. So I felt like that action should have had so many consequences, but it felt like she just did that. It didn't really matter because she's gonna find her next episode either way.
Just ran into it right away.
She ran into her right away. So, and I think I know why they did this. I think they did this because just ignore that. The computer's freaking out. It's all right. You're fine. You can do it, computer. You're great. So I think the reason they did that is because Sansa has a lot this season. Just in the trailers alone, like, we see her in so many places.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot for her to do, and they kind of want to get that moving. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she's going to be in almost every episode, and they kind of going to need to get that moving pretty quick, and they can't really wait.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but I just felt it was too convenient. And look, I love Brienne, and I'm like, oh, Brienne and Sansa, like, all together, but like, it just happened too quick. It was too much. Like, it started off, and within like 5 minutes, she already is building her army, which I'm liking, but I really wish it could wait. I really wish.
Yeah.
It held that off. What do you think?
I thought that maybe that they would just recapture Theon Like when
Yeah.
he went out and tried to
Yeah,
take them off of
that's
Sansa's tent.
That's another thing.
I thought
yeah.
that maybe Sansa would be left out there by herself, and Theon would go back
Yeah.
in with Ramsay and get fucked up even more. And then
Yeah.
just Brienne showed up, which is
Yeah.
kind of predictable.
Yeah, that was very predictable. But yeah, when Theon like stepped out to basic, so Sansa's in the tree. They're in like the bottom of a tree.
Yep.
And Theon hears the hounds coming, so Theon's like, you know what? I'm standing up for Sansa, and I'll take the bullet. You know what I mean? Go. He even told her, go to Castle Black, go to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, like she's actually gonna leave and go to, and like they're gonna split up this early, which was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But instead, it meant nothing. Like in Game of Thrones fashion, meant nothing. And Brienne just came in and saved them all, which was whatever. It was a cool scene, but you know what I was expecting? I was expecting after Brienne like knocked them knocked them all down, that either like Sansa or Theon, one of those two, would have went missing for some reason. Because when I saw it, it was a weird cut. It wasn't a weird cut. It was a cut when like you saw Theon like starting to run away. He was getting a sword. We figured that out.
Yeah.
And he stabbed. But I thought like the battle would clear up and he'd be gone. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did Theon go? Like, that would have been it. But now it didn't. Whatever. So look, I'm all for Sansa. You know, I know a lot of people don't like her. I guess I don't know. I've heard many people bitch about Sansa. I love Sansa personally.
Yeah.
Not love her. I like her. All right, she's all right. She's not my favorite. She's no fucking Arya Stark, but she's pretty fucking rad. But of course, I was disappointed by this whole thing. I liked it at the beginning, and something else I liked. All right, well, share your thoughts first, really quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like they definitely have, like, pretty far to go with Sansa. So, I mean,
Right.
like, they really did need to get it going.
Yeah.
And, like, they can't really take time having her brought back to the castle and have Ramsay doing more stuff
Right.
to her, and then Brienne
Right.
maybe coming in and breaking her out.
Right.
But they just had, like, the perfect chance. They're like, she's outside of the castle.
Right.
They're isolated from everyone else except
Right.
for this just one group of Ramsay's men.
Right.
Brienne can come in, sweep them off their horses, kill them all, and
Right.
they can get going.
Right.
Because
Right.
it seems like there's quite a bit for them to do.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. I just meant they could have saved this for a later episode. Maybe episode 2 or 3, they could have held this off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but, well, I mean,
I guess. I don't know. I just thought they
they
could have.
probably just they wanted to squeeze a lot of it into this season, so.
Right. I thought they could have done it better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty weak. We're actually going to stick with Sansa, sort of. We're not really moving plots, but we're actually going to go to Winterfell really quick.
Yeah.
Because right before all this happened, we had a scene with Ramsay.
Yep.
And honestly, this is actually one of my favorite scenes in the whole episode.
Oh, my
where
God.
Ramsay is like sitting next to like his. What's her name?
Victoria, I think it was.
It's not Victoria.
It's not Victoria.
It's not Victoria. I can tell you it's not Victoria. That's not a Game of Thrones name. Doesn't matter. No need to look it up. Doesn't matter. The bitch, she's dead. Who gives a fuck? And you know who? You probably know who we're talking about. Ramsay's fucking side hoe.
And then she found
So-
out that she was the Houndmaster's daughter, and then
Yeah.
the whole thing happens where he talks about, like, not being scared and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. He has like an emotional moment where he's like, she really like helped me out. Like I really have an attachment with her. And then he leaves and goes. And then this is great. The mace is like, "Do you want to bury her
Or build a pyre.
And he's like, "No,
She's good meat. Feed
yeah,
her to the hounds."
Just feed her to the hounds." And that was such like a good way to show off Ramsay's character. Like,
Yeah.
he's this guy who was like, look, he has a heart, but the heart's like fucking covered in fucking black. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a fucking terrible person. And then we
Quite
have
charred.
we have a good scene with Ramsay and Roose Bolton,
Yes.
where Roose is like, "Yo, I'm gonna have a kid, and I'll probably replace you if you don't get Sansa."
Yeah.
And that you could see him like get pissed off. And also they kind of mentioned like they're kind of enemies with the Lannisters because Roose Bolton never like got the blessing to marry Sansa to Ramsay. So that's he kind of went against the crown. So they did mention that. They kind of snuck it in there. And I think that's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Pretty much both ends are like the Starks now. Like who's ever in Winterfell, they're hated by everyone.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So good for them. All right. Any other comments? Did you like this part or did you?
I mean, I liked that they showcased more of just how much of a crazy bastard Ramsay is.
Well, I
And they
don't
use
think we
that
need to see
bastard
that.
term in multiple ways.
Well, he is a bastard.
Exactly. And I guess it shows that Theon can stand up to himself now.
Right. He's starting to speak too.
Yeah, he's starting to ease away a little bit from Reek.
Yeah.
More back toward Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Coming up.
very. We see her kind of starting to build that army, which I
Yes.
think is gonna be big. So that's all good for Sansa. She's in the next episode. We know that, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna move on to Arya. So
She didn't have that much time this
Yeah.
episode. It was just one quick couple minutes scene.
right, and that's what I have to say. Listen, I love Arya, and actually, when I think we watched this together, and you remember when we were watching it when Arya came up, I was kind of like,
Yes, you are.
because I fucking love Arya Stark. She's my favorite character, and I'm gonna be honest. She's never in the first. She's almost like, I think there's one season where she's in. Besides the first season, she's like one season where she's in the first episode.
Yeah. I know you'd mentioned that to me before. You were like, Arya Stark is kind of a second episode thing.
Yeah, she
I
is.
was like, I know. Well, yeah, maybe she is.
And she showed up in this first episode.
Not for very long though.
I wish she didn't.
Yeah.
I wish she didn't, because I wish they spent more time somewhere else, because they could have just done that. For what they could have done is they could have put that like at the beginning of an episode and then go back to her. So if she is in episode 2, they could have just had her stuff in episode 2 at the end, and you know what I mean, kind of like space it out. Which is something else we're going to talk about at the very end. We're going to talk about the pacing of this episode, but I didn't like the fact that they showed her. Because it was almost like a tease. I was just watching a teaser trailer, and actually I saw that clip online. They actually shared that clip. Not I don't think the whole clip, but like 75% of it. It's only like 2 minutes long, so I already saw it to begin with, most of it. That didn't really ruin it for me, but it was just like I just wish, you know what I mean. I felt like it's weird because I felt like they spent too much time on Sansa, or not too much time, but they rushed it too quick, and I felt with Arya they just didn't show enough.
Yeah, they held back too much.
You're right. So I felt like with those two different problems. But whatever. With the Arya thing, she got beat the fuck out of. I thought that was pretty cool. Showing her blindness, I guess that's fine. But I wish they held it off a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. They're kind of showing their hand a little bit already with that.
Right.
We're like, oh, she's gonna be learning how to cope with her blindness.
Basically, yes.
That's how she's gonna start off the season,
Basically.
and that will just show you quickly that that's exactly what she's doing.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much about it. But let me just put in the final thing is, I hope that like, just because she's in the first episode, I think she's in the second one, because they did show a clip of her for the new preview. But I hope she's in the second episode, because I hope they just don't go, oh, we put in the first one so we can skip her now. Like, give Arya some screen time, because honestly, in season 5, I felt like she didn't have enough. I know I might be biased because I like Arya, I probably am, but like episode count, I think she's in like 5.
5 episodes, really?
5? I mean, because she's not in the first one, she's in the second one. And I think after that she's in like the 5th, 6th, and then like 8th. So I think she's like in 5. She's like in 5 episodes. Like it's her season 5 was like her like least eventful season, I guess.
Oysters, clams, and cockles.
Yes. Fuck that. Play it again, Sean.
Oysters, clams, and cockles!
Thank you very much. All right. You got to play it. Every episode we're gonna have one of those. It's gonna happen every time. All right. So Arya's whatever. Fuck Arya and her clams. So we're gonna move on. This one's gonna be a long one. We're talking about Dorne.
Oh boy.
So all right. Here's what happened in Dorne. All right. So basically, the Sand Snakes were like, "Hey, how you doing, Prince Doran? How you doing? We're doing pretty good. Oh yeah, I'm doing great. Oh, what's this? A letter? What's this, a letter? Oh. Marcella's dead? Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus, fuck! Yeah, so basically, if you didn't get that explanation, which you probably didn't because it was a garbage explanation, but we'll explain again. So basically, the Sand Snakes killed Prince Doran, killed his bodyguard. Don't remember his name.
Like guard captain.
I love him now. He's badass. Interesting. So I think my thoughts on this is the same I had on Sansa. Why they did it too quick?
It was just so unbelievably sudden.
It was
all within the span of 10 minutes. Everything was done.
It was less than 10
minutes.
It was
even less,
And not even that. It was in 10 minutes. It was just like, I think it would have been better if it built up to that. And I don't want this to happen in like episode 8. Is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying what they could have done is they could have like maybe like show like, oh, like the Sand Snakes are actually with him now, like, and then have a big betrayal. You know what I mean? It felt like it's like, oh, hey, nice to meet you again. Oh, you're dead. All right, bye.
Yeah,
that's it. And I get it. I predicted that to happen, but I didn't predict that to happen. We never talked about. Oh, we did talk about Dorne, but we didn't really go into it because I didn't think it was gonna whatever. But if I would have believed that, you know what I mean? That's a predictable situation.
Yeah,
I know it just was. I didn't predict it to happen so fucking sudden.
Yeah.
But all right, something else I was disappointed by the Dorne plot, that there wasn't really much of a battle. That fucking bodyguard, like, he's in the books, he's actually like they talk about him how he's such a good fighter. Like, he's a badass, and even like in last season when he like shoves that spear and like next to Jaime, he's like, "Do you want like a real fight? Because I can give you a fucking real fight." So it felt like he did nothing throughout season 5 and
He
season
just got
6.
stabbed in the back.
I really
It's
wish
alright.
like there would have been a badass fight. Like
Yeah.
I really wish like one of the whoever the stand sect that was, the one that I really like,
Yeah.
would have stabbed him, and then you would like turn around, like get into a fight. Like I really wish it took like an effort to bring him down. Like maybe like one of them climbs on top of him and like brings him down, like an epic fight. You know,
Yeah.
like then I feel like that'd be satisfying. Like I just felt it was like
Oh, he's dead.
dead.
Well, whatever.
He's alive, he's dead. But I will admit the Tristain death I actually really liked.
Yeah, it's like, oh, choose which one you want to fight, and then you choose to fight the one and get stabbed in the back of the head with the spear.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
And it's
well,
like you're a selfish bitch.
no,
Yeah, that
you're
was
a greedy bitch.
that. Yeah, that was good job, Bob. Yeah, that was the I like that. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I expect the Tristain to have more of a fucking purpose, and nope.
No, he's gone.
Literally, like they could have just killed him in season 5. Like they could have had that, and that would have been actually way better if they had that killing them
like-
at the end of season 5, like
Yeah.
after Marcella dies.
Mhm.
Or like what they could have done is they could have like show them kill like the I mean I know there's a lot of death in the last episode, but they could have totally fucking done this. Had the stand stakes like kill Prince Duran, and then like poison Tristain and Marcella at the same. I don't know. They
Yeah.
could have done something like that. I just felt like it was like we met them and then they were gone. You know what I mean? Maybe if we met them this episode, they did it next episode, that would have been fine. It just felt like the pacing was off.
Yeah.
And we've gone through 3 plots, and I think we all agree, at least I think so, maybe you know that, and all 3 of them, I feel like the pacing was off.
Mm.
Which might be a common theme throughout this. So what do you think? Did you enjoy that they died? And I don't mean that like you were cheering them on, but like you know what I'm saying. You know what
I mean, it definitely gets that plot going. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
the Dornish are definitely gonna come to fuck up with the Lannisters,
Oh yeah.
and like they even Illyria Sand even was just like, oh, you don't know your people at all, and like they killed him and his bodyguard, and none of the other guards reacted at all.
Exactly.
Like this was a thought out thing where all
Right.
the people are behind them, and they're gonna take over Dorne,
Right.
and they're gonna go to war with the Lannisters, and they have all the people of Dorne behind them.
Right.
So this showed that, but other than that, it was just like, all right, this episode hasn't had its allotted amount of gore yet. Let's just
I guess.
let's stab Duran in the heart, and then we'll shove a spear through the back of Tristain's head. That works.
Basically, I guess. I know, but I really liked. I actually did like the part when Illyria is her name.
Yeah, hilarious.
Illyria Sand is like looking into Prince Duran, and she's like, yeah, the women are. She's basically like, yeah, the women are in charge now, so you can go fuck off.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true everywhere. I mean, Cersei's in charge in King's Landing for the most part. We'll talk about that in a sec. Sansa's getting an
Sansa's gonna be
army.
in charge, yep.
Like it's Daenerys, not now, but maybe in the
Yeah.
future. So Dorne overall, the Dorne was probably the biggest twist, maybe biggest what the fuck moment.
Yeah,
I'd say
it
probably.
was definitely the most like entirely unexpected. Like,
Oh,
you'd think it was
yeah.
You think it would have like built to that rather than
Right.
just, all right, there it is.
Basically, I don't know. I did think that it was necessary to move the plot forward. It just did it have to happen in like the first second we see Dorne?
No.
I don't think so. But maybe there's more. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a lot more happening this season, and they just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. It is kind of sometimes tough, and Game of Thrones sometimes in the first couple episodes sometimes struggles, getting it going. But not this fucking season. They went too fucking quick, in my opinion. But we'll see. Maybe they have a lot planned, so maybe
Yeah.
that's why. So any last comments?
No, I think
on
that's
that?
basically
You're all
it for
good?
that subject.
All right, we're gonna move on to something else. It's Marine with Tyrion and Varys.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know I kind of actually ranked this. I didn't even do this on purpose. I kind of ranked this in stuff I don't like to like. Again with Marine,
They started with another one of those scenes where Tyrion and Varys are talking to each other,
which
just
is
walking
the
the
best
street.
ones.
Those scenes are
the,
tremendous.
those are the best scenes. I felt like the writing was pretty good. There was one line where Tyrion said, which was supposed to be funny, and I didn't laugh. It was like, I think there was the line where, maybe I'll put this in, maybe not. If I can find it, I'll put it in. But I think it's when Varys said like if I was a boy, I would steal from you. And he's like, oh, you're not a boy because you don't have a cock. Or
Yeah.
something like that. And it was like, really? Like, I didn't find that. That didn't. I feel like that writing and the delivery was not good.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Did you feel that?
I guess it was kind of a little bit out of place for the conversation, but
Yeah.
not really because that's Tyrion's character.
It just felt out of place. Yeah. He could have came with. Yeah. I agree.
And then they're walking through the streets, and then all of a sudden, they hear some alarms and people are running through the streets.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, what's going on?"
And the ships
They head over to the harbor, and all of their ships
are on fire.
have burnt down.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then before that ends, we actually see them run into a red priestess really quick.
Yep.
I know, red priest or priestess.
Priest.
It was a priest. And they were basically like, because everyone's fucking rebelling now because Daenerys is gone, and they were basically like, yeah, we're gonna fuck shit up. Like,
Yeah.
she's not coming back. Let's do this. And we know that that religion is super popular in Essos.
Yes.
So we see it all the time, and I think that religion is gonna play a huge part in Tyrion's plot, because we do see a red woman, a separate one in the trailer.
Yeah.
A red priestess, not the red woman.
Yes.
A red priestess in the trailer. So I think she's going to play a important role, most likely.
And he ran into that one last
right.
season also when he was in
Right.
where they Volantis.
Right. But that scene again wasn't that long. I don't think it was necessary either, because like I just think they just kind of like went like they had like a checklist, and they were like, all right, we got Arya, we got Sansa. Oh, we don't have Tyrion. Everyone loves Tyrion. What should we do? And just do something for like 3 seconds. All right, Tyrion. And I didn't like it. I didn't know, because I thought they could have like done something a little bit better. I think it was better than having. I think it was less like shoehorned in than Arya was. Because Arya was just fucking put in there.
Arya is one of the more pointless of the just random scenes. Like just to get everyone included. Hers was probably one of those to like, oh, we need to include her so that people know what's going
This
on.
basically
This one accelerated their plot a bit more than Arya's did, because Arya was just like, oh, she's struggling with her blindness. Obviously, she's struggling with her blindness, but my god, all of their ships are burning.
Basically, I don't know, man.
So there was definitely some point to that scene.
Right.
I personally liked it.
Right.
I mean, you could say it was a little rushed, but
right.
There's probably a lot of stuff that needs to get done this season.
Right.
And like there were a lot of plots that left kind of on cliffhangers last season, so they needed to like hit another plot point after the cliffhanger, just so you know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
But still no Brandon Stark.
We'll get to that. And I think I know why we'll talk about all of that after. So we're gonna move on now to not too far. Not shocking. I didn't even do this on purpose, actually. Actually, I might have. We're going to move on to Jorah and Dario.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this scene was also pretty short, but I thought this scene had a place. Maybe that's why they included the Marine scene, to kind of like transition to this. Because they did go to Marine, to Jorah, to Dany. So maybe it was like one long thing, which is fine, I guess. But I thought that Jorah and Dario, while it was short, I liked it. I liked the conversation they had.
Yeah.
Where you know, Dario's like
how does it feel to want someone who doesn't want you back?
Yeah, but Dario's basically why are you doing this? And Jorah's like, dude, you know why you're doing this, because you know why I'm doing this, because you're fucking doing this for the same reason. We want her. You fucking want her. And they had a good conversation, and they found the ring. Which, look, listen, I know I said I didn't like the ring last time. I stand by that. But I think it was pretty cool when you could see like where the horde was. Yeah. And then that's how they kind of found it, even though it was still kind of luck that they ended up there of all places to look.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit out of place for Jorah to say it was a horde, and then for like them to walk up, and then Dario would be like, "Was it Dothraki?" And I was like, "What other hordes are there?" And you're supposed to know like all about that stuff. Where
I guess I don't know. I didn't get that. I didn't. That never hit me. I mean, like, Dothrakis aren't the only hordes. There's probably other hordes. Dothraki is the only hordes we know of, like the biggest ones.
Yeah, they're like known for their hordes though. So
I mean, I don't know. I disagree. I feel like that was just like to like let the audience know. Oh, not let the audience know. Basically, let the audience know that they know who it is, which I thought was fine. And that transition, because you're like, "This is Dothraki," and he goes, "Yes," and they start playing out Dothraki music, which I fucking love. I love the like the. I can't play some of that because it's copyrighted, so I can't play it. But if I could, I would though. But I can't. But no, the Dothraki music is some of my favorite, and I love I love the like environment, and I love the fucking like makes the world feel much more real. I feel like the music in this game in Game of Thrones is pretty fucking good. Yeah. Some is better than others, but Dothraki music, I don't know, I guess you could just say music in Essos. I like Daenerys' music. It's some of my favorite. But anyway, before now I know this is really short, that's all about So I thought there was to it. But what do you think that were you all right with that scene? Do you thought it was?
Well, it basically just sends it toward like, oh, they know what happened.
Right.
She was picked up by a Dothraki horse.
Right. Which pretty much like sets up for the season that like they're gonna find her. Almost.
Yeah.
Like, cause like they're not struggling. They're like right on the path. So
They know that the Dothraki have her, so they'll probably head toward Vaes Dothrak.
yeah.
And then you find out in the scene with Dany that she's going to be going to Vaes Dothrak, but we'll get to that.
Right. Yeah. That's about it. That's about for Joe and Dario.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. Although I know I said I didn't like that Arya was kind of short, and I didn't really like how Marine was kind of short and felt shoehorned in. But I thought this was all right. I felt like this was fine. I felt
okay, kind of short.
This fit in because then after this we went right to Daenerys.
Yep.
And I love Daenerys in this episode.
Yes.
I thought this might. I don't know if this is my favorite part. Probably not now, but it's one of my favorite parts. Daenerys is basically brought up in front of the new Cal. And the new Cal goes up to her and is like, yeah, we're just going to fuck you a bunch of times and just kind of leave you, whatever, we don't really point. And then she lists all her titles to like step up against him, and it makes the moment real tense. Like they kind of cut to all the characters not saying anything with straight faces, and then they just laugh at her.
Yeah,
like
and they don't give a shit about anything until she then finally brings up that she was Khal Drogo's wife.
Yeah, well, she was. And then they were like, oh, you're Khal Drogo's wife. We'll never touch you. But you're going to be locked up in somewhere forever because once a Khal dies, Khalasar, who are widows, are basically brought to this place.
Yes.
So you're going to have fun there.
Off the Vaes Dothrak we go.
They explain it in the books. I think they explain that place a little bit. So basically, yeah, someone who married a Khalasar and the Khalasar died, the widows are brought with other widowers?
Ooh, yes.
Other widows?
Yeah, it's just widows.
Other widows to like mourn and like pray. Not pray, but like it's like a religious thing almost. And they take it's like in their culture because they do have not a weird culture, it's a different culture.
Yeah.
So that's like her new obstacle, like escaping that basically, and that kind of like really made the moment like they're like, oh, you're free, and she's like, oh, you're gonna take me back to Marine, and they're like, no.
Oh, I'll give you 1,000 horses if you take me back to Marine.
No, you're not going back.
Our religion though.
Yeah, or not really. I guess culture.
Yeah.
Cultural thing. That's not happening, honey. Sorry. And you're like, oh shit, like that. I think shit's gonna go down for her.
Yeah.
Cause, god damn it. But yeah, no, that's about it. I mean, there was a little more with her walking and getting beaten, and they were kind of like talking shit about her. Yeah. They were like, yeah, we're gonna fuck you in
before
the
they
ass.
before they knew she could speak Dothraki.
Yeah. No, so do you like Daenerys in this? I actually think Daenerys was gonna be in this episode for some reason. I thought they were gonna like because she was so far away, they were gonna like give it a break, but they went right to her, and I really like this. This was a redeeming part. I think this redeemed the problems I had with Marine, and I was like, all right, that's fine. Whatever happened to Marine, I didn't really like that scene that much, but this is all right. This is good.
And they also like brought back up some of her like her original badassery that she had.
Right.
Like when she started to control Khal Drogo and became truly a Khaleesi.
Yeah.
But they brought some of that back, and she managed to like get herself not in a terrible predicament.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna take you to Vaes Dothrak," and she was like, "Fuck."
Basically, yeah. No. So I think this is just again a setup, which is fine. I actually enjoyed the setup because like I like Daenerys with the Dothraki.
Yeah.
And I like she kind of stands up to them. She's not afraid of them like she was. She's not intimidated by them. She's like the only one. So it was awesome. Plus there was a shit ton of people there. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like,
yes, it was a rather large Khalasar.
Like, well, yeah. I mean, goddamn. All right. So now we're gonna move on to Cersei and Jaime. We're gonna talk about Cersei and Jaime plot. Yep. So this scene starts off with Cersei sitting in her little chair, just looking out the window, and they go, "Oh, a ship from Dorne's here," and she's like, "Marcella." She gets a smile on her face, and she's running to the ship. There's like a nice little scene where she's running, and the first thing she sees is Jaime standing up and like
looking all grim
with like a noticeable body with a like sheet cover over it coming towards her, and like her smile like went from like happy to like
just gone.
Like
she was just
it was like that
done
basically. And I was like, oh man, like that's rough. And then it goes to the scene where she's talking to Jaime and she explains her prophecy, which is cool because we saw that in season 5 and she explains it like, yeah, she told me I'm gonna lose all my kids. She told me
Yeah.
that they're gonna try to separate us. They told him like this is, and he's like, you don't believe in fate, you dope.
The only things that matter are you and me.
Are you and me? And then the next episode, Tommen's gonna die. No, but look, I really mean it because I think fate. I think that it's almost set in stone, almost like because it's gonna happen. All that Tommen's gonna die. Everything, she's gonna get replaced. Like they wouldn't just put that in there. It's gonna happen.
I was thinking that maybe she would. I'm thinking that she might like try to kill herself so that Tommen doesn't die, like early.
Like maybe.
Like try to like get in the way of.
I think she's I don't know.
But she might like try to kill herself and fail,
and
then Tommen ends up still dying before her.
maybe that'd be interesting, I guess. But no. I also like the scene where she's like, dude, Marcella was like so fucking sweet, and I'm not. Like she like admits her flaws. Like I'm a terrible person. Like I just done so many terrible things. Like how could she like the fact that like I had a kid that was nothing like me makes me happy.
Yeah.
And Jamie's just like, we're gonna kick everyone's ass, and that's about it. That's all I really showed for that.
Yep.
Now the biggest flaw, I don't know if it's flaw, but the problem I had with this is when Jamie, I mean they kind of cut it out, but I felt like Jamie should have at least asked her like, what happened to you? Like why is your hair all gone?
Yeah.
Like what is like I expected like him the first thing to be like, so you got a haircut or something like that, you know what I mean? I expected that, but no, he just kind of was like, yeah, well, maybe. I mean,
maybe they were just too caught up in what happened with Marcella. And
true, but they could have at least like mentioned it, like whatever. I don't know. I felt like they kind of just breezed over that, which whatever. They're focusing on Dorne. We know from the next episode they actually are focusing on the High Sparrow and all that shit. So maybe they'll just do it then, which is totally fine. But I just wish they kind of brought that up. What do you think? Again, this was a pretty short scene.
Yeah, it was. It didn't last too long.
Yeah.
It kind of just once again wrapped up the cliffhanger that happened at the end of last season, where Marcella died and Jamie was still on his way back to King's Landing.
Right.
And so she didn't know yet.
Right.
It accomplished her finding out, and then what they're gonna do next, kind of.
Yeah.
Although the previews for the next episode set that up more than what happened in the episode.
That's true. That's true.
Because at the end of the scene, they were just like, "Oh, nothing matters but you and I," but like nothing else.
I mean, come on now. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like what you were saying about the fact that he doesn't know yet. I wonder if they'll just like gloss over her telling him about what happened, and he'll just be at the Citadel.
Maybe.
So
maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So we're gonna move on from that, and this one's gonna be a shortest one because literally this is actually the shortest. We're gonna talk about Marjorie for like a quick second.
Yep.
Because she was in this episode, probably even shorter than Arya was. I think she was in it for like a minute.
Yeah.
It might have been around the same.
Just as long. It's not shorter than Arya.
So basically, the Septa was like, "Hey, fucking with her," being like, "You want to see Loras confess?" And then the High Sparrow came in and was like, "Yeah, fuck off, lady." And he was basically like, "Yo, confess your crimes." And she's like, "I didn't do anything." And he's like, "Well, are you perfect?" And she goes, "No." And he goes, "You're on the right path. See ya." And he leaves. And it's like, oh. Where's Brent Stark now? No, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like, really? Like, all right.
I mean, she doesn't have, unless they're trying to like, I don't know. She's like, she doesn't have much to confess about other than lying that she didn't know about her brother. Like, that was the entire reason she was imprisoned.
To them, that's a bigger like sin than being gay.
Yeah.
Which is just very silly.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? But no, I see. I felt like they could have totally put this in an episode where she was relevant. Like they could have totally put this before like her trial or something. Like this would have been good for a trial scene or something. But maybe this could be hinting at something. Like maybe Marjorie becomes religious.
I don't know. Maybe she gives up Loras to save herself.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that's her. But I think because he was like, you're on the right path. Like you have many miles to go. Like she could become a religious fanatic. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. Maybe
I don't
not.
think it would go that.
I don't know. Whatever.
Serious.
Whatever. I'm just fucking idiot. All right. Whatever. That's all we have to talk about Marjorie. Not much. Just a little bit.
Just as much as her singing.
Now we're gonna move on to number 9. We have 10 total. So at number 9.
Number 9.
And we're talking about Davos.
Sir
versus
Davos
the Night's Watch. Just Davos the Night's Watch, no one else. So This is the best part of the episode, I feel. Besides
it's the part of the episode they came back to the most. They
well,
started with
they started
it, and then
with
they went
it,
away and came back.
ended
a few
it,
times.
which is basically the main focal point.
Yeah.
I love. All right, so this is, I guess, even though it's about the very end, we're gonna start off with how the episode started because this is how the episode started.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode started with a nice shot, a nice long shot with up, and like halfway up the wall,
Yep.
going down in the castle black over roofs down the Jon Snow's body. I love that shot.
Yes.
I thought that shot was very well done, and like this is a good way to start it. And then Sir Davos comes in, and it's like awesome, cool. So Sir Davos kind of like waltzes in, like hanging around, and goes, just hanging out. He's like, oh, Jon Snow. I know that fucker.
Oh God, he's dead.
Pick this up,
Oh my
guys.
God.
Pick it up. Move into the room. Move into another room. But no, like I felt like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, so Sir Davos even really cared about Jon Snow before that? Did he ever show any like I'm like, why would he even?
I
Really
mean, he
be
was trying to
upset?
get. He was trying to get Jon Snow to help him and Stannis.
I guess he's Lord Commander, so he's like an important figure.
Yeah, and
Like,
Davos has always been the respectful.
Yeah,
guy.
he has. Yeah, he shows a lot of respect to people. Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. But yeah, so basically they took his body and they locked him in a room with Ghost in there.
yes,
Ed and a bunch of Night's Watch, and they were like, "All right, we gotta do this. It's us versus the Night's Watch. Time to go to the other side." So then we see Sir Alistair talking to. I thought this was a great scene. Talking to the other Night's Watch. He's like, "All right, look, I killed him. I killed Jon Snow, but I did it for you guys. Like I did it because he. Like I didn't do it because I hate him. I did it because he would destroy the Night's Watch." And I mean that's the motivator now. We speculated it could be Ramsay involved, but that's not the case. Obviously, it's just like, yeah, I've been here longer than he has. I know how this shit works. I gave my life for this. He came in and fucked it up. The young.
he let the wildlings through our wall.
Basically,
He went against basically everything that they had stood for the entirety of the time Alistair was part of the Night's Watch.
basically, yeah.
So he didn't he didn't like that very much.
No. What a shock! What a shock.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So not shocking that that's the case, but I thought that was a really cool scene where like the Night's Watch were basically like, oh, you son of a bitch, and then he explained himself, and they were like, half of them like, all right, and then the half were still kind of pissed. So kind of divides the Night's Watch. Now back to Davos really quick. I know we're jumping all over the place. Davos is like, Ed. He's like talks to Ed. And he goes, Ed, like, we can't do this alone. We need people that Jon Snow's helped go out. Obviously, alluding to the wildlings. Going to find the wildlings. And I'm excited because I think it's going to be awesome seeing Davos and the wildlings versus basically the Night's Watch almost.
The Night's Watch without like 6 people.
Without 6 people, which is not much. I mean, there's only like 100.
Yeah, 200? I think there were around 100 remaining.
Yeah, maybe
although maybe John got some more in since
maybe a little more.
Well, because there were 100 for the
battle. Season 4, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know how many they've added since then.
True.
So
yeah,
the numbers are not great either way.
And the
number of wildlings is
pretty good.
So
it's pretty good. Yeah. So I'm I'm really rooting for the wildlings. Obviously,
yeah.
I've pretty much been rooting since the wildlings since after season 4ish.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them now. I'm back on Team Wildling.
I don't think anyone's on Team.
No one's on Team
Thorn.
Alistair unless someone's like has their stick up their ass. And if you're for Thorn, please subscribe and get that stick out of your ass. Go to the doctor because you're gonna get that shit out, dude. It's gonna get.
You might want to get a
infected.
colonoscopy after that.
You might want to get a few. All right. So I thought that scene was awesome. I thought like just that whole plot was great. And we're gonna kind of stick in it, but do you have anything to say about that? Are you excited for that battle? Because I'm excited for that battle.
that battle's very exciting prospect.
You're right.
They showed in the trailer and in the preview for next week them chopping down the door.
Right.
So maybe the wildlings show up as that's happening.
Yeah.
That would be pretty tremendous.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I like the interaction that Davos had with Alistair through the door.
Yeah, that was a good one where Sir Alistair was basically like, hey, if you give up, we'll let you go. We'll give you a horse and we'll go on. And so Davos is like, I can use some mutton.
I'm not much of a hunter. I mean, it would be nice if I could get somewhere without starving.
Basically. And
then he looked over to his men and he's like,
Yeah.
He's like, all right, we'll give you some mutton. I mean,
Yeah, whatever. And then Sir Davos is like, yeah, that motherfucker, he's lying.
Yeah.
He's a liar. So which he obviously is. No shit. Like, he's not gonna like spare them. He's gonna,
you saw the amount of crossbows they had trained on that door.
he does not want any Jon Snow supporters. He wants all of them dead, which is a good idea for him. Whatever.
Not the greatest idea for the realm, though.
Well, I'm not just not a great idea in general. Whatever. So
That's
before whatever. Shut up. I love you. Shut up. I hate you. All right. So basically, all I have to say, all I need to finish this plot off with, is talking about Jon Snow. And I know he's just a corpse in this, but basically, this is a battle over Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Sir Davos is trying to stop them from getting his body and burning them.
Mm-hmm.
And Sir Davos is basically like, look, we need to, you know what I mean? Either give him proper burial or do something with this shit. Like, revive him or do something. You know what I mean?
And he was like mentioning the Red Woman and stuff,
which we're gonna move on to right now.
Yes.
And the first thing we're talking about the Red Woman is when she walks in, into the body. You can see her face, like of ultimate disappointment.
Like, once again, what she saw in the fire did not come true.
Did not come true. She's like, I saw Jon Stark. Oh God, Jon Snow.
I mean, technically,
No, I saw Jon Snow in Winterfell, like fighting, like taking down the Bolton banners. I think it's gonna happen. I do. I think the Battle in Flames she saw. I know last week in our predictions, we're not gonna talk about our predictions until like the end of the season. We'll go back and look over them.
Yep.
But let me just touch one really quick. I did say like, I don't think Joss is coming back, but I kind of changed my mind after watching this episode because it's like I forgot about that prophecy actually. So she did see that Battle of Flames with Jon Snow in there. So I think that he will come back for that. I think that so she kind of like is questioning her faith. She at this point she's like completely broken.
Yep.
And she's kind of like, fuck man, like everything I've said is wrong. Everything I've done is wrong. And so Davos is like, we need her help. You know what I mean? We'll help her out. And then the final scene. So we cut to the final scene. She's in her room and she starts stripping naked. And I'm like,
as she does.
I'm like, this. I mean, look, listen. I'm not complaining, but at the same time, I'm like,
yeah.
No one's here. Why are you doing this? So she takes off it, and then she takes off. There's you see the mirror, and I'm like, why is there a mirror there? Something's gonna happen here. Like, like is she gonna use a spell or something? And then she took the amulet off of her. Neck, which I never. I mean, I think I've noticed it before, but I gotta go back and watch the episode and see if. I mean, I assume they wouldn't have fucked this up, but I want to see if it's always on. I know it probably is always on because they've been playing this for a while, but whatever. Like, so she takes off the necklace, and we find out she's really old.
Yeah,
very old, like hundreds of years old. Which. I'm going to be honest, completely threw me off.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was happening.
No.
You could have told me Brienne would have rescued Sansa. I would have believed you. You could have told me that there would be a bloodbath in Dorne, and I maybe would believe you. But if you fucking told me that Melisandre is not... Like she's been with us in season 2. This was such a good, like, twist.
Yeah.
Such a good, like, holy shit, what the fuck moment. I think that this made the episode, honestly. Like if this was the big knife.
Yeah.
She's basically naked, and everyone who I guess is attracted to women, maybe not everyone, but most people can admit Melisandre is pretty attractive.
Yes.
So when she switches to a naked old woman, I know there might be some people who are like, ugh, don't show that on TV. But you're missing the point if you're saying that. I thought that was so like totally took her character and just like crushed it. Yeah. Like she's all like her character is all about her sexuality, all about her like you know what I mean, her nudity and confidence. Yeah. And now we just see like this naked woman, and it's just like she's not that, like clearly not. Mm-hmm. But and then even when you saw the face, it still looked like her. Yeah. Not like physically, but you could see in her eyes. You can see that's Melisandre. Yeah. So what do you think about this? What do you think about the whole? I felt like this was the best part of the episode. Do you agree?
I was thrown off entirely.
I was too.
I was like, where do they go with this now? Like,
well, she's just probably gonna. I mean, I don't think they're gonna really go that much. They'll probably go far into it, like where she came from, who she was before. But I mean, I expected her to be like 30 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like
she probably got the amulets obviously managed to make her look younger to either seduce people or to, kind of
Yeah.
hide her
She
true
probably
self.
learned at first that the way for people to accept what you're saying is through sexuality and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And she was like, I'm getting older now.
Right.
I can't keep doing this, and people are going to stop believing me.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's really questioning her faith, and she actually, is actually, lost and really confused. I really feel like she is. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm excited to see where she goes with this shit because, goddamn, I think this changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
This changes the whole fucking game of Thrones. Ooh, that's a pun right there. But yeah, no, I felt like really, we know why this episode is called The Red Woman because we learned a lot about her. Primarily is she's not what she looks like.
Yes.
Which was her whole character, basically. And it's so weird because like I said, we've been with her since season 2, which is a long time.
Yeah, it's just like everything you think you know about Melisandre, you don't.
For the most part, yeah, for the most part. And I've been a strong hater, I guess is the word, of Melisandre. There's never been a moment during the show where I've been like, oh yeah, I like her as a character and I like her the role, obviously. I like to hate her, but I've never been a moment where I sympathize with her really before. Yeah. Maybe at the end of season 5, but even then she killed Shireen, so I didn't give a fuck about her. Fuck her. Shireen was one of my favorites. She didn't die in the books. I'm going on a rant now. This is rant time. I hated that. Fuck you, Melisandre. I hate you. But now I don't. No.
Interesting short
rant, yeah.
Short rant you had there.
So basically...
If I could not have a stroke.
It happens to all of us sometimes. So, I felt like this is a moment where I actually really did sympathize with her. And maybe my first moment that I actually sympathized with her because I was like, I actually really felt her pain, and I'm like,
she's so torn up about everything,
lost and hurt, and everything she said was wrong.
All she's done throughout the show, it seems to have been worthless to her.
But is it? And that's where I'm gonna say it's not. I think Jon Snow is gonna take down those Bolton banners. I think there is gonna be a battle in the flames. I think it's all gonna happen this season. I do. I think it's all gonna happen this season.
This season.
I think so.
Wow.
I'm predicting that right
over the next 9 weeks. It's gonna happen. You heard it here first.
Well, probably in 8 weeks, maybe 9. It'll start happening. Whatever. So really quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about there's two major plots we didn't see, and one plot where we know is gonna start in the season that we didn't see either. But we'll start off with the big one. Brandon Stark was not in this episode, which makes sense. All right, and I'm gonna tell you why right now, because this episode basically felt like season 5, episode 10, part 2.
Yeah. When they go back to Bran, they need to devote a lot of time within the episode.
Oh yeah, and he is going to be in the next episode.
Yeah.
Look, I was so excited, and I really thought that season was actually going to start off with Brandon Stark. I thought maybe Jon Snow, but I thought he was going to be a big factor in this episode, and I was wrong about that.
I think they didn't go back to him just for that reason. They need to spend so much time when they go back to him.
Right. And I think they didn't go back to him because, I said... And
they left so many plot holes, not plot holes, so there's so many cliffhangers with the other storylines. They needed to hit them before they went to the deepness of They need to hit them
to keep going.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, man. That's kind of some of my problems with this, is the fact that this feels like it's episode 11 of season 5.
Yeah.
It felt like season 6, obviously, to a degree, with it looks better. I don't know. Did you see that?
I don't know. Well, we watched it on actual HBO this time rather than HBO Go.
Maybe, but I watched it on HBO Go again. I watched it this morning again, just to recap myself.
And it looked better.
I
wonder if they've been shooting in 4K.
I don't think it's 4K. I don't think it's 4K. I just think it's something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they shot some episodes last season in IMAX. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell. Yeah. Yeah, no, but Brandon Stark wasn't in here, which is all right, but they really need to focus on the next episode, which is fine. I really want to see him. I'm so pumped to see Brandon Stark. I really am. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the fact that he was missing actually kind of hurt this episode.
A little bit.
I mean, I get why I didn't have him, and it was probably a better choice not to have him. Yeah. But I feel
I kind of like the way they did it.
He wasn't in season 5, which I felt hurt season 5. So this felt like season 5, episode 11, so it really hurt.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But we're gonna move. Do you have any?
I mean, it was saying that it's season 5, episode 11 doesn't really mean that it was not a good episode
No.
at all. It just
I'm not
means it
saying
didn't
that.
really start anything that we
That
couldn't have.
new. They didn't start anything new. There was
Yeah.
really no new plot that really happened here.
No.
Can you think of one?
No, not
I
really.
can't think of one. No. They hinted at plot starting. Like
Yeah.
they hinted at stuff from Marine
Like the rebellion
and
in Dorne
Daenerys
and all
and
that.
stuff. But this really did feel like this is that's why they went around to Arya for like a few seconds, Marjorie for a few seconds, like it's not like Tyrion and Varys for a few seconds. They were just going around basically like, all right, he's all right. Like this is where they
this
are.
episode was resolve cliffhangers, set up next episode. Resolve cliffhanger, set up next episode.
Well, so next season, really.
Yeah.
The whole season.
They just went through that for all the
Right.
plots except for Bran,
which is fine
because he wasn't in the
which
last
is
season.
fine. But when you judge it as it being episode 11, I feel like that's where it's a weak a lot of times. Because if you watch it, pretend this aired right after episode 10, the whole Brienne thing is just no.
Yeah.
Because like it happened so quick. Like they should have waited. I think they would have been fine if they didn't have Sansa in this episode. I don't think they really even needed her.
No, they could have left that.
She wasn't even really a cliffhanger as much as like Jon Snow or like anyone else was. Daenerys, like, you know what I mean?
Jamie and Marcella.
Jamie, yeah, they could have totally left that out, in my opinion. I think they should have. All right, so we're gonna move on again to a plot we didn't see, and that was Sam and Gilly. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Don't need Sam and Gilly. We're not in a rush. I feel like that is gonna be too much involved in season 5 anyway. Season 6 rather. Anyway,
yeah.
so that's totally fine. Without Sam and Gilly, I'm all right with that. I'm all right without having Sam and Gilly.
Just don't abandon them.
Yeah.
Make sure we see him in the
No,
next
we
two
will.
episodes.
We will. I think we're seeing them in the next episode. Didn't they preview them in the next episode?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I think the latest we can see him I would be all right. I'd be all right if we didn't see him next week and the week after. Like I'd be fine. Well, I want to see him in season 3.
I want to see him by the end of episode 3.
Yeah, I do, but I'd be fine if they held off to episode 4. I could survive on that, but I don't think they will. I think they'll cover episode 3. Maybe next episode. We don't know.
Could be.
All right, and the last plot, which I didn't expect to be covered at all because I wasn't even in season 5 or 4 or 3. Last time I saw it was season 2 was the Greyjoy plot, which we didn't talk about in season 6 predictions because it's a whole new plot basically, even though it was kind of like covered in the books for the most part, which is fine. I didn't expect to see it either, but I don't know when we're gonna see it. That's what I'm curious about. When we're gonna see that.
I don't know. Well, because I guess Balon Greyjoy is still in pretty much open rebellion.
Pretty much. Well, in the books, he's fucking shit up in Westeros.
Yeah.
He is literally going everywhere and just destroying. So it's very interesting. I hope that happens. But I guess we'll see. It's not even him. It's his uncles. It's his brothers. It's Balon's brothers. Theon's uncles. But we're not going to talk about that because we don't have that much. I just wanted to mention that wasn't in there. Mm-hmm. So really quick, before we go on to our last thing, which is our predictions for season 2, we're just going to talk about
season 2.
That was Westeros After Hours. That's what you get. No. All right. Yeah. Season 2. It's because I'm thinking of fucking Greyjoy. Oh, God. All right. Season 6.
Yes. The rest of season
episode
6.
2.
Episode 2 specifically.
See, that's why I was thinking 2. I was thinking season 2, episode 2. Don't even remember what happened in that. No. Anyway.
The only episode 2 I remember is 4-2.
That's because
when
Joffrey died. Yeah. But before we move on to that, and before we give our thoughts on the episode, let's talk about something a little tragic. I find a little tragic. So, we turned on the episode, and they did some trailers and they did some things.
It was 9:04 by the time the episode started.
It doesn't matter. It was later than that. It was like whatever. I was excited to get started, and there wasn't an intro.
No, it went straight to the title.
It went straight to the title card. And listen. All right. So let me just say this: there was an intro in season 1, right? There was not an intro in season 2. There was no intro in season 2. There was an intro in season 3 and 4, and there was no intro in season 5.
Yes. Season 3 was the making of the swords, right?
No, that's season 4.
That was
season 3 was
Sam.
Sam. Yeah.
Okay. I had those two mixed up.
Yes. So it's very inconsistent, and that fucking bothers me.
Yeah.
Like in the books, every single one of them has like an intro chapter, right? And the intro chapter because every chapter in the book follows a character. The intro chapter does not. It doesn't follow like a pivotal character. It just follows someone.
Yeah.
And basically, they die at the end of every time. And I just wish that they had that. It's so inconsistent. Like it's 1 they do, 2 they don't, 3, 4 they do, 5 they don't, 6 they don't. And I'm like, what the fuck? All right. And I really wish that maybe the Jon Snow thing would have been the intro. Like they could have him like, because I like to have in the intro because it makes it like Like it really sets up the season.
Yeah.
And it really gives it.
Even
like,
if the intro was just the scene where they panned down from the wall to his body, and then when it got to his body, they went to the title sequence. That would have been all right.
that would have been fine. Yeah. That would have been good.
Yeah.
It could have even been shorter. Like that, and maybe even short. I don't need it to be long. I don't need it to be like season 1 where it's like 5 minutes.
No, I'm not even talking about like where Davos comes out too. Like,
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just where it pans down, gets to his body,
yeah,
goes away.
exactly.
And then it comes back right when Davos is.
Oh, not even comes back. Like it just cuts like the episode starts and Davos is like walking out and then he sees the body basically. Yeah, no, I was so disappointed by that, and I know that's a some people would be like, well, whatever, get over it. I'm not, man. I just can't get over it. I feel like the intros just add so much, and we need them.
Yeah,
We need them. So
they've all been really impactful.
right.
Well, season 1 it was
Definitely
more like a
was.
setup scene.
It established it. Right,
yeah.
right. Season 2 didn't have one. Season 3 I thought was alright with Sam, but season 4 was my favorite one.
Yeah.
With Tywin melting down ice.
Ice, yeah.
Yeah, that was really a great scene. That really like established a lot, and and that figures the best one, and they stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like in season 5 they could have done the Cersei flashback. Could have totally been the intro.
Yeah, definitely.
But they didn't.
Mhm.
Like they just added it in there, and I felt like that. I don't know. I just felt maybe they forgot. I don't know. I feel like you can't be that inconsistent when making a show. I don't know. They have to know that they did that on purpose. I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyway, let's talk about this episode. What we thought overall, our overall thoughts. And I'll start with you. I'll start with you. I just want you to kind of go over how you felt about it, how much you liked it, and talk about how you liked it as a premiere and stuff like that. You can handle it. So go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. It was a good episode.
Okay.
Like, not taking anything away from the episode itself.
Right.
But it felt more of like how normally up until season 5, episode 9 of each season was the big, like, huge thing happening.
Right.
And then episode 10 kind of wraps things up, sets things up.
Exactly. So this, what you're saying is this basically feels like an episode 10.
Yes.
You know what, dude? I completely agree. I had the exact same thoughts. I was actually gonna say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This felt like an episode 10.
Episode
And it was
10.
a tremendous episode. But it was, well, I wouldn't say tremendous, but it was a good episode. But it felt like not season 6, episode 1. It felt like season 5, episode 11. So
That's basically, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
no.
It's not a bad thing because if this wasn't the last episode, that'd be acceptable. But when, you know what I mean, you start off a season and you go to Arya for like 2 seconds and you rush Sansa, and I feel like Dorne is rushed, Marine is kind of unnecessary, Marjorie is a little unnecessary. I feel like all that stuff, like that's fine in episode 10.
Yeah.
They usually put that stuff in episode 10s. If you remember, like in season 1, there's like a scene where Grandmaster Pycelle's like talking to I think it's Roz. Is it Roz? Is that her name? The prostitute?
Yeah, that is her name.
Roz. That is her name. There's a scene. I'm sure it's very obscure, but there's a scene where he's like basically like he just had sex with her. He's like cracking his back. Do you remember that?
Was that with her? I thought it was just with.
I think it was with Roz. Maybe it wasn't. It might have just been with the prostitute.
Yeah, I do remember where like he
cracked his back.
And she left. He got up and like cracked his back. And, like
that was
hopped around.
after he left. But
And then
before.
And then he got ready, and then he was just like.
Yeah.
And like hunched over.
But before that, he had like a conversation with her that was like kind of irrelevant, unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just kind of set up some ideologies that he had and moved on.
Yep.
Which felt good, and I felt like a lot of like the Marjorie thing would have been a season 10 thing, like Arya as a season. You know what I mean? They could have just done it to wrap it up, and I felt like for a season premiere, I'm gonna be honest. I think this was the weakest season premiere out of all the other seasons.
Yeah.
I stand by that strongly. That's not a bad thing. If we're not really gonna rate the episodes, you know what I mean, like on a 1 to 10 or anything like that. But if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it probably like a B minus.
Yeah.
Is where I'd go, which is not typical for Game of Thrones.
No.
Like there's probably only a few episodes I'd give a B or B minus.
Yeah.
Not saying this is the worst episode. It's not. I think there's a few other ones that are weaker, but it's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean I don't think it's the show creator's fault, and I don't think it's the writer's fault. I think it's just the circumstance they're in where they have to like follow up. See, they can't just, you know what I mean, just move on normally.
They have to follow up what happened in season 5, episode 10, which is I think why they did what they did in the previous seasons, where the big stuff happens in episode 9, so they can wrap some of it up in episode 10.
Wrap it up in episode 10, and they didn't do that.
Although season 4 didn't really do that either, because I mean, Tyrion killed Tywin at the end of episode.
No, episode 10 wrapped everything up. Like he left. And
Yeah.
Like Arya left the Hound. Like I felt like that actually episode wrapped up very well.
Yeah.
I felt like the
Well, I'm saying they didn't have really like the whole episode 9 is big, episode 10 wraps up.
yeah, they did. Episode 9 was the battle on the wall. It was huge.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like the whole all the plot lines have their big thing.
Right, but I don't know. That's not always. I don't know. I felt like
Whatever.
I disagree with that. But whatever.
All I'm saying is season 4 episode 10 was more eventful than the other episode 10s before.
I agree. I agree.
That's all I'm
I agree. Whatever, man. I just felt like it's not necessarily a problem. It's a choice they made, which is fine. But for a premiere, I thought it was weak. I'm gonna be for a Game of Thrones season premiere. I felt it was a weak episode.
Mm-hmm.
For that, as a Game of Thrones episode, it was good. It was like a B minus.
Yeah.
But if I had to give it for season premiere, I'd give it like a D. Honestly, I felt like for season premiere, I just didn't do what it was supposed, which is fine. We're past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we can get to episode 2, which is a real premiere, because we see Brandon fucking Stark.
Yes.
Brandon fucking Stark. One more time. Brandon fucking Stark. All right. Or Bran. I call him Bran. I don't like Brandon. I don't like the name Brandon.
Sorry to tell you, Brandon.
And if your name's Brandon, please subscribe. All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about, and I keep saying that, but I mean, like, this is the last actual thing.
Yep.
Is season 2. Oh, I said season 2 again.
Season 2 again.
I said, Sean, put a zany noise. Thank you. I gotta stop telling myself to edit shit. I'm just making my job harder. Sean, make my job harder. All right. You do that all the time. All right. So we're going to predict episode 2. I got it right that time. For season 6.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make some predictions. Obviously, some of these predictions are going to be wrong. We don't know which plots are going to be in. But if I had to predict... so what we're going to do is we're going to try to talk about what you think we're going to see. What do you think we're going to see this episode? Besides, I mean, including what was shown. So, all right. So let's go off what we know of right now. We know Sansa's in here. We see her talk in the preview, which I actually watched. We might not watch those in the future just to make this podcast a little more like... because it seems like unfair.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be easy to predict because I kind of predict it for you. We see her talking to Brienne.
Mm-hmm.
So we do see Sansa. I think that...
I'm going to make a pretty bold prediction and say that
Yeah?
up to half of this episode is going to be Bran.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Just because we had
I don't
a
think...
full season without him. It's been 11 episodes since we last saw Bran.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bold prediction. I think that's a good prediction. And what do you mean by most? Do you mean more than 50%? Or do you mean like...
Well, I said like up to half the episode.
Do you mean like he's going to have the most screen time? Or do you think like he's going to have more...
He's definitely going to have the most screen time.
He's going to have more screen time than everyone else combined.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. I mean, I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to show. We need to see Mira. We need to see... I mean, come on now. What has Hodor been saying? I mean, come on.
He's just... Does he just say Hodor still? Does he say...
Don't.
Don? I don't know.
We're just not funny people. We're just
It's
true. Shit. I totally lost. All right. Yeah, so Arya and Bravos, we'll see some of that, I think, for a couple seconds.
Very akin to what we saw this episode.
But yeah, see, stuff to cut out. Sansa's in here, so we're not going to talk about that. Arya's in here, we can talk about that. The Dorne plot can be cut out. We don't need to see
we
anymore.
don't need to see it again.
We don't need to see any more
after
Dorne.
what
Fine.
happened last episode.
I think there's 3 plots we don't need to see either, and that's Tyrion, Jorah, and Daenerys. We don't need any of them. I don't think we need a single one.
I think we are going to see at least one of them.
We're not going to see Daenerys. I can almost confirm we're not going to see Daenerys. I am like 80% positive we will not see her.
Yeah.
Because, no, we're not going to see her. We're not going to see her. Daenerys, there's no... They're going to... They're going to Val Dothrak. They're going to, like, wait a little bit. You know what I mean? To go there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm totally fine with not having Dany in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they even really need Jorah and Dario. Like, what the fuck? Forget about them.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, all right. If they do show Marine, I want to see Grey Worm. I want to see other stuff besides just Tyrion and Varys. I think they're the best part of it, but they need to be structured with something. They need structure, which is fine. Whatever. Again, this felt like an episode 10 to me, so whatever. So I think those 3. I'm not necessarily even predicting that they're not going to be in here. I say the episode would be alright without them. I think we really need them. I think we have plenty of time to explore those plots. Cersei and Jaime, we know they're in here. So I think they showed in preview that we're gonna play a pretty big role.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I think not much is really gonna happen. I think we do see an army, but I think Jamie's gonna talk to the High Sparrow. I think some shit's gonna be thrown. I think drama's gonna start happening. It's gonna start setting up the trial.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna see Tommen? Because we haven't seen Tommen in a while.
We
Think
might.
about it.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Tommen. I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Tommen.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
I agree.
I mean, if Tommen shows up, hey. If he doesn't, hey. I mean,
I kind of want to see him.
yeah. But he hasn't really been relevant. He's kind of
Yeah.
been like off to the side, and he's the king, and it's not. You'd think the king would be featured a little bit more prominently, but it's Tommen Baratheon. So, yeah, no.
Yeah. I agree. Do you think we're going to see like any... Because, I mean, I kind of want to see some... All right, this is a minor complaint. I know this is, again, we talked about how this acted like season 5, episode 11. But I felt like there were a lot of characters they just didn't... Not necessarily show, but I felt like it was focusing on like 2 characters and like not the world. Like I want to see like Grand Maester Pycelle hanging out. I want to see Uncle Kevin because he's the hand of the king.
Yes, he is.
So Uncle Kevin's important. I want to see what's that guy's name? Well, I want to see. I mean, I think in the new preview we do see the mountain fighting, but I want to see whatever that guy's name is. The Maester.
Oh,
The
Qyburn.
Maester. Qyburn, yeah, is that his name? Qyburn.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to see him. There's other characters I want to see too. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal.
No.
Not a big
We
deal.
will get to everything.
Maybe we won't.
Like we did last season.
Yeah.
Didn't get the brand.
Well, I mean, he was cut out. They announced that before, so
That's true.
That's fine. I don't think we're gonna see any Marjorie, which is fine. We don't really need to see her.
no.
We know we're gonna see Davos and Night's Watch. Obviously, they're important.
Yeah.
Maybe the Red Woman. Maybe we'll see more of her.
Could be.
Possibly. We know Bran Stark. Maybe Sam and Gilly.
Possibly.
Maybe not.
I'd expect them
episode
more
3.
episode 3.
I agree, and I think that this is a good time. Or I think not now, but we need this soon. They have to be like starting the Greyjoy plot pretty soon.
Yeah.
I really hope that next week, that during that title sequence, we see Pike on the map.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty rad. But all right. So overall, I think we can say. This is my thoughts. We'll go to you. Just to recap really quick. I thought this, like we both agree, that this started off as episode 5, season 5, episode 11 rather. I think this was an all right, not like a weak, but just an average, maybe slightly not below average, but near below average episode. But I felt like as a season premiere, this was a very weak episode. And I hate to say it, but I felt like this is the weakest season premiere in Game of Thrones. 6 seasons, and I felt like that's not anyone's fault. I just felt like that's the nature of the episode.
Yeah.
And I felt like next episode we were going to move on from that. So we had to get out of the way now, and let's start season 6 next week.
Yeah, they kind of had to have an episode like this. They couldn't have really come off the high of the end of last season without having something like this happen.
Yep.
But I mean, as we say, this was the worst season premiere. All episodes of Game of Thrones are great. Like, comparably to other things, they're just really, really good.
All of them?
Well, I mean, pretty much all episodes have been really good.
Oh, no. I mean, the show's very consistent.
Yes.
The show's very consistent. There are people who would agree with you. There are people who say that episodes in the last season were pretty poor.
Yeah.
Specifically one, but I actually disagree with that opinion. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think this was a B minus. So yeah. I think like whatever. It was an average episode. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'd be like a great episode for another show either. I'm just saying it'd be. It's just the nature of the episode. We went into the episode with almost like a disadvantage. Yeah. So
it's like a recap episode essentially.
Yeah, and I just want new stuff, man. I just want new stuff, which is fine.
And that will come in the coming weeks.
Probably starting next, maybe. Because basically this was a transition. We now have a bunch of new plots. You know what I mean? The whole Jon Snow's we have a new plots. I mean, it is a continuing story, obviously, but it's a new. There's no more cliffhangers. You know what I mean? The only cliffhanger we really have is the Red Woman, which I'm sure is just going to be a lingering thing going on.
Yeah.
How long is she gonna hide that? When are they gonna find out? Are we gonna learn more things from her past? Because we don't even know anything about her. Everything we think we know about her, we don't. And that was just a very that was honestly like, if I had to give like the reason why this was a B is probably because of that. Like this, if that wasn't in here, that this might have been like a C+ episode. Like that, I think that really strengthened it. That was like the best part of this episode. That whole reveal, especially with the mirror there. I remember seeing it for the first time, being like I saw an old woman, and I'm like, oh, I'm imagining things. What is that? And I'm like, oh no, it's a man. She's not hot anymore. No, I'm kidding. I felt like that was actually kind of the point of her character, was that I don't know. I like that part. I like that whole Davos thing with the Night's Watch. I like the whole Melisandre thing was the strongest point, and I'm glad that was the main focus.
Yeah,
glad that was the main focus. So,
that area was definitely the main focus of fans,
right?
Like talkings over the off season,
right?
So it's good that they went somewhere with it, other than
right
what we could have easily predicted.
Right. Yeah. So, do you have any other final thoughts you want to talk about? Really quick.
No, I mean, the season looks like it's gonna definitely start moving.
Yeah,
going
it
somewhere.
already has. I mean, whatever, man. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I really got.
It's gonna pick up the pace a little bit. That's what I'm gonna say.
I mean,
look forward to the rest of this season.
I think the pace is fast, which is what made it feel like in episode 11.
Yeah,
because it was just carrying off the heels of episode 5, which was moving really fast. So I kind of had
mixing up season and episode.
What did I say?
You just said episode 5.
See, this is why we're probably gonna like just get rid of our podcast. Just explode it.
It's just gonna
disintegrate all the files
on the internet.
No, but I felt like the fast pacing, quick pacing rather, of episode 10 in season 5, like that quick pace, like this episode needed to like, because every season starts off kind of slow, which is I kind of like the show as a slow pace. That really makes the story interesting, puts a lot of depth into it, makes the characters more interesting. So I felt like season 5, episode 10 was going like 80 miles an hour in the highway, and they couldn't just start the season going 20 because I'd die. So they kind of need to like keep that pace going and slowly ease into the season, which they did. And I hope now we start going around 2025, and then we build up. You know what I mean? Basically, like if you look at the season, like I felt like we started like really high, right?
Yeah. I also hope we don't like slam on the brakes though. We need to like ease onto the brakes.
Right. That's something this episode had that we can just talk about this really quick. The pacing of this episode fell off to me because it was a season premiere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like a year since season 5, so I mean, like, it felt like it should have been slower. But no, I hope they don't slam on the brakes. But I hope they keep it like where they are now, like where they like just keep it cruising, but don't keep it going. We don't need to go super fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't need like stuff to happen every episode, like major stuff to happen every episode. I can take it slow and like you know what I mean, develop situations. You know what I mean? I felt like that was the biggest problem, and specifically with Dorne, is they really could have built it up for like 2 or 3 episodes. That would have been much better. I feel they could have totally built up like the betrayal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I mean, like literally the last time we saw her, she was like kissing his ring, and now it's just right to this. Like, I feel like there was no like that. I think that might actually be the weakest part. Is I like that. I like that I killed all of them, but it felt very rushed, and it felt like maybe if they took it slower, they could have actually developed it, made an actual fight out of it, like developed the plot. Because you know you need to develop these. A lot of Game of Thrones plots are developed in the books. Yeah. And I'm not saying the books are better, but whatever. They need to be developed. You know what I mean? So you need to let them cook a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like basically it's like making toast and putting in like the toaster oven and turning it like 1,000 degrees. Like you're gonna just ruin it. Like you need to.
You can't get that perfect golden brown. It's just gonna go straight to burn.
You need to put it. Yeah, exactly. You need to build it, and I felt like that was a lot of the problems with these plots.
They were burnt toast rather than golden
specifically the Dorne, but it's still toast.
Yes, it is still toast.
It's still toast. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah. I think there's really nothing else we can even talk about.
No, not really.
We pretty much covered everything. So that was fun. Our next episode will be next week. We'll be talking about
season 6, episode 2.
Season 6, episode 2.
What we're gonna think is gonna happen in season 6, episode 3.
Yeah, we'll go over it. Hopefully next week I can open this up by saying he's back. I mean, he is gonna be back, but hopefully I can open up and be like, "Oh, Brandon Stark, my boy." They spent like the whole episode with you.
Yes.
Whatever, man. I just want to see Brandon Stark. I'm so excited for that. I think that's another reason why this season felt like it wasn't a premiere because we didn't even get him, which is fine.
We didn't get the thing we were without last season.
Yeah, whatever. So we'll get him next season. I'm very excited. Man, I can. You know what I mean?
Seasons, episodes.
Seasons. What's the difference? Who knows? Who cares? I probably should just kill myself right now. Anyway, so
All right.
good. I'm Sean.
I'm Bob.
And that was Westeros After Hours, Season 6, Episode 1. I still can't get it right. The
Yes.
Red Woman. We will see you guys next week. And we'll talk all about Brandon Stark. We'll open it up at Brandon Stark, I promise.
Even if he's not in the episode.
He's in the episode.
He's in the episode.
We're going to talk about him for at least 3 seconds.
At a minimum.
At a minimum. All right. See you guys next week.
See you then.
Bye.